Hello. So I have a story to tell you today. So there was a father and a son, and he had just put his little boy to bed. And about a few minutes later, the little boy goes, "Dad, I'm super thirsty. Will you bring me a glass of water?" And the dad's like, "No, you had your chance. Now go to sleep." A few seconds later, the little boy's like, "Dad, I'm really thirsty. Can you please bring me a glass of water?" And the dad's like, "No, I told you, go to sleep. And if you say it one more time, I'm going to come in there and I'm going to spank you." A few seconds go by and the little boy goes, "Hey, Dad, when you come in to spank me, can you bring me a glass of water? I'm really thirsty." So who doesn't love a glass of water when they're really thirsty? It quenches our body. It makes us feel great, especially on a hot summer. Of course, I'm doing this video in the middle of the winter, and so you may not understand it as much, but who doesn't love a really good glass of water? It is very refreshing. And it's interesting because the Bible uses illustrations with water like over and over. And so I'm going to just kind of outline some of those and give us some biblical ideas as I go. So the first one is the Red Sea. We see this in Exodus 14. And the Israelites, they've just escaped from Egypt and they come to the Red Sea and it is completely closed off to them. And the Red Sea kind of is that thing that stands in our way, that obstacle that we don't think we can overcome. Let's go back to Egypt, right? Ridiculous. But when God gets involved, the waters part and you're able to walk across on dry land. And not only that, it also becomes the thing that destroyed the enemy. And so this Red Sea moment when we feel like we've got this big obstacle we cannot overcome, we need to get God involved so that he can help us walk across that dry land and he will take care of the opposition that is behind us. The second one is waves. I love the story in Matthew 8 where there's this huge storm and the disciples are freaking out. "Oh my gosh, we're going to die." I don't know if you ever had those moments, but I have. And of course, Jesus is asleep in the back of the boat and they're like, "Don't you care about us? We're going to die." And Jesus just gets up and he rebukes the waves and it completely stops and everything calms down. And it's kind of interesting when you think about that, because what would have happened if the disciples instead had a lot of faith, walked over to Jesus and said, "Hey, Jesus, the waves are completely out of control. Do you think you could get up and stop them?" And have an actual moment of faith, right? But instead, they freaked out, and that waves are the things we think that will destroy us. They come into our life. They're unexpected. And we need to realize that the reason why Jesus could get up and rebuke the waves is because it recognized his voice. If you go into Genesis, you see that he spoke them into existence. So it knew his voice. It completely calmed down. So whatever's going on in your life, same thing. Everything is created by God. Everything. Even if man has created it, he created the man. So everything is created by God. He has the power to stop the waves in your life. You just need to trust him. The next one is the water at the well. So Jesus came to the well and the woman was there drawing the water who had been kind of had a promiscuous lifestyle, this horrible past. And he tells her that he has living water, that if she were to accept this living water, then she would never be thirsty again. And we see in this moment God's redemptive power that is kind of shown through water as well. And that your past no longer matters. What matters is, do you take that drink and do you move forward with Jesus Christ? And we see the cleansing in 2 Kings 5 when Naaman thought he knew how God would cure him, but Jesus has other ideas for him, right? Or God has other ideas for him. And that just reminds us who has the mind of God. We may think we know how God is going to take care of our situation, but sometimes he does it in his own way. And then we also see in baptism water, right? That cleansing of that we are asked to do. And the reason why Jesus did it was to show us true obedience and so that we could follow his example. And it is a public declaration of our faith. It is a move from death to life. And it also is not magical in any way, but it definitely is a powerful symbol that says to other people that I plan to walk for God and my old is gone and my new is come. It is a physical representation of what is happening on the inside of us. And of course, it connects us to the family of Christ in that way as well. Now, we also see in Revelations 3:15 through 16 about lukewarm water. And it's compared to a lukewarm faith. And so God says he will spit you out of his mouth if you are not hot or cold. So he's like, pick one. You either are for me or against me. And so if you're walking this lukewarm water faith, then truly God will spit you out of his mouth. I believe that we are living in end times and we need to be on fire for God. We need to be hot, not cold. And if you know anything about the history of where this expression comes from, there were these two rivers that ran into each other. One was really hot and one was really cold. And in the middle, it would be really lukewarm, and nobody really wanted that water. It was kind of gross. And I don't like lukewarm anything. Like, I don't like lukewarm coffee. I don't like lukewarm tea. I know some people do, but it's just gross to me. And so I understand the spitting it out. And so we are called to be hot, to be on fire for him. And that's where this channel comes from, Blue Fire Faith. And so I know water and fire seem like they go against each other. I'm usually talking about fire, and today I'm talking about water. But when you bring God into the mix, they go together because he's able to do the miraculous. And so that is it for me today. If you like this video, share it to others, like it, and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.